Welcome to the 40-week challenge. This is session 3 or week 3. So last week we talked about the blocks that hold you back from living the life of your dreams, but we didn't really go into detail about how do you overcome those blocks. I talked more about what would happen to you if you didn't overcome those blocks and the drama-filled life that you would lead. So in this session I want to cover off a little bit more about the ways that you can overcome those blocks. So there's many different types of therapies out there, and what you need to look at in your life is what situation are you in right now. So let's just say, for example, that you're depressed. So if you're depressed, you could see a homeopath, you could see a psychologist. There's many avenues that you could take. So what would be the right avenue for you? And no, I'm not a doctor, so I can't prescribe for you, but I can recommend the avenues that I've taken. So when I was depressed after my brother's suicide, I did a lot of homeopathy and I saw a psychologist. And when my business went broke and I lost my marriage, I went and saw an Adlerian therapist. But I guess you might be asking me, well, how do I choose? How do I choose the therapy that I need? So my answer to that is you need to really understand the situation that you're in. Are you angry? Are you sad? Are you upset? Are you lacking energy? What is going on with you? Is it a mental thing? Is it an emotional thing? Is it a physical thing? So let's first look at that. Like, try and pinpoint the situation that you're in, whether it's mental, emotional, or physical, and then decide what would be the best help that you could get. So let's just say that you're lacking energy. So if you're lacking energy, it might be because you're depressed, or it might be because your diet is bad, or it might be because you're lacking something. There's something lacking in your system. So you need to do the homework, first of all, to find out what is it. What situation are you in right now? What is the situation? And then you need to understand exactly what's wrong. So you're going to have to go out and get some advice. Okay, so just say, for example, that you're lacking energy. You might see a doctor, you might see a nutritionist, you might do meditation, you might get more sleep. There might be a lot of practical things that you could do. This session's not just about the help that you need. It's also about the therapist that you choose. So some people go, okay, I need to see a doctor, so they just go and see the doctor down the corner. I mean, wouldn't you want to do some homework on that doctor? Wouldn't you want to see, like, ask your friends which doctor they use? Wouldn't you want to find out the qualifications of that doctor or how they work, or whether or not they even speak the same language as you? Like, I wouldn't just choose someone because they are a doctor or a dentist or a physio or a psychologist. I want to see how good they are. I want to see what their specialty is. I want to see how they work with me, if I can understand them and they can understand me. So there's many times where I've worked with clients and they will say, well, I saw a psychologist and that was useless. Well, maybe you weren't seeing the right psychologist for you. Just because they're a psychologist doesn't necessarily mean that they're the right psychologist for you. You may need to go and see 4 or 5 psychologists and go, wow, that one there is definitely the right one for me. But what we normally do is go, psychologist, check. I'm obviously having that therapy and it's not working. Well, I guess I'll just leave it at that. And then you don't often decide to pursue it. Like, wouldn't you have a conversation with the psychologist and say, you know what, I'm having this therapy and I don't seem to be moving forward. And maybe he or she could say to you, oh, that's normal at this time. Normally at this time, people feel very stagnant or whatever it is. Like, you need to communicate where you're at. So what I want to share today is figure out exactly where you're at. Be really honest with yourself about the block that you have. Decide what therapy that you need. Like, if it's, okay, I'm low in energy, could be diet, could be your thyroid's low, not getting enough sleep, could be lots of things. You need to pinpoint what it is. And then when you've decided what therapy you do need, then go and interview them and say, how could you help me? This is my situation, and see if they speak your language. See if they feel like they're the right person for you. Like, just care a bit more. Have a bit more care about what you do, how you do it, and who you do it with. The other thing I like to talk about is in our society, we like what I call quick fix bills. I just want to go to someone today and get it taken care of. Well, sometimes that's not possible because we are very complicated as humans. We have many, many layers. We're very intellectual, we're emotional, we feel things. We've got so many different things going on. how could you possibly think that you can fix it in 1 or 2 sessions? I mean, for me, the last time I went to therapy was when I saw the Adlerian therapist, which was brilliant when I lost everything. And I saw her for about 18 months. And she said to me, look, you only really need to see me for about 4 months. But I got a few great breakthroughs in 4 months. And then I got some more breakthroughs after that. And I stayed with her for another 4 months after my last breakthrough, just to make sure that there weren't any more breakthroughs. Because for me, I choose to live the life of my dreams, and I choose to live a harmonious life that's free from crap, and I choose not to buy into anything else. Like, I ask myself the questions we talked about in session 1. Is it real? If it's not real, don't worry about it. So this session was about the help that you need and choosing the right person for you, and caring enough to keep pursuing that. Because there's so many modalities you can look at. You could get a biodynamic craniosacral therapist. You could find a kinesiologist, an acupressure specialist, a Chinese medical doctor, a regular doctor, a homeopath, a naturopath, a psychologist, a psychotherapist, a physiologist, a physiotherapist, a doctor. You could get so much help. So what help do you need? And because we're many layered, we're learning lessons till the day we die. So you will need a lot of help. So I want you, last week we talked about the blocks. Try and pinpoint what that block is and try and decide that the help that you need. You may just need to read 500 books or 20 books or 2 books or 1 book if you're really smart. You just may need to read, but seek out that advice. Decide that this is not a situation you want to stay in, and pursue the help that you need, and pursue it until you are happy. And if you're not getting happy, change that help and look at it and go, that's not really helping. What help do I need? Like, have a really balanced approach to it and you will change your life. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this session. It is a different session to the session I normally do. And I look forward to seeing you next week. See you then.